welcome to the Rowdy.com Big Three, sitting on the high banks of the turns at Talladega. Well,
sort of.
Not really. It's actually a parking garage, but we'll get to that in a minute. I'm Bassmasters. He's Buck Fever. We're talking Talladega and talking about one of the most exciting races of the year, Buck Fever. But before we get to our key aspects of this race, let's talk a little bit about drivers and who we can expect to run well here.
I think, you got 3 or 4 drivers are always going to run well here. Jeff Gordon, Kurt Busch, Tony Stewart, maybe even Matt Kenseth. These are the guys that come to mind when I think of guys that are going to do well at Talladega.
Strangely, Buck, you didn't mention the one guy I always think of, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Remember that incredible streak of 7 straight races where he finished first or second, first 5 times, second twice. It's been a while since he's won here.
He's won here like 5 times?
Yes, he has.
Yes.
But this is a track where you expect him to do well, certainly after running second at Talladega. But when you think about these drivers, you also think about teamwork, the teamwork aspect of this, because we've got these cars with their engines restricted, a restrictor plate limiting airflow to the engine to keep the speeds down because the banking is so high on this big racetrack, they'd be well over 220 miles an hour without that plate on the car. And that's what really determines the style of racing you're going to have at Talladega. All these cars in a big pack, a big aerodynamic pack, poking a hole through the air, nose to tail. And the question really is which line moves fastest, which line can get to the front.
I hope the outside line is actually moving fastest because that's really exciting racing on a play track when the outside line is moving. And the question really becomes, are the Hendrick guys going to gang up against the Roush guys? Are the Roush guys going to have anything for the Hendrick guys? Or do these cars and teammates start to split up and race with other guys because they just happen to race better with another guy?
Yeah, you look for a car that you can hook up with and be fast with. And then, of course, the key aspect here is really tactics because it's so easy to pass, as Jeff Gordon said.
Tactics in the
draft. You don't really need to make your move until very, very late. So will you do a lot of racing at first, or will you get in the big line and ride around like we saw last time? Now, of course, the reason guys did that last time was because NASCAR came down the morning of the race and said, fellas, no bump drafting in the corner. Well, this time around, Buck, they got a little something different.
They got awfully pissed off that they couldn't bump draft in the corner, but now Brian France said, have at it, boys. Do whatever you want to do. Police yourselves. Bump draft all the hell you want. And that's what we're going to do. The question really is, are we going to do it all race long?
Yeah, I think so. And can 2 cars get hooked up nose to tail? We've seen that in the past at Talladega with this race car. Now, of course, we also have the spoiler on the back of the car. That's going to punch a slightly different hole in the air. So will that affect how guys bump draft, getting nose to tail and pushing each other around the racetrack? We're going to explore that right now, Buck, in a little demonstration we have up here. What does it really mean to bump draft? We're going to find out.
How do you do it?
We're going to find out right
explain
now. So let's get to that. All right, I'm standing here with Talladega veterans Buzz Cutler and Buck Fever, who are going to demonstrate for us. We're here on a beautiful day at the racetrack, going to demonstrate for us the bump draft. Tell the race fans what you're getting ready to do here, Cutler.
Well, the Subaru Legacy wagon is feeling pretty good. It's feeling the guys unloaded it, and it felt right from the get-go. So I'm just going to run my race. Buck Fever's going to be behind me. He's going to come up, close up distance, and try to bump me around the track, and we'll see what happens.
Now, Buck, you, of course, are a veteran of this kind of thing, but tell us, what are the dicey parts of doing the bump draft, and have you guys worked together in practice at all today?
Well, the Tahoe backerboard Chevy is run really, really good. And I hook up with him in clean air really, really well. Not so much with my teammates. So we decided that we're going to run this race together and try to be there for each other at the end. So it's a lot of teamwork and a lot of effort, but I think together we can do it.
Yeah. You see, the thing, Bass, about bump drafting at Talladega is teams sort of go out the window. You find who you work best with, and you hook up. And if it's your teammate, great. And if it's not, so be it.
It's co-opetition.
Co-opetition, right. I forgot about that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, the cars are in fact touching right now. And, yes, thank you, dear. Now the cars are touching, and Buck here will push Cutler all the way around this beautiful racetrack. I will follow with the camera, and we're going to see what happens. So hang on. All right, fellas, let's do it. Well, looks like he was kind of bumping you, and then he got moved you out of the way, and
Yeah, it slingshotted right around me. It's frustrating. I thought we had the car to win today. I know we had the car to win today, and you know, Fever had to bump me to get around me. But that's just racing at Talladega. You know, I would have done the same thing to him. I can't fault him for that. But yeah, it's frustrating.
I noticed you weren't exactly pushing him in the corner there, Buck.
Well, you know, you got to be a smart racer. You know, you don't want to bump draft in the corner. You bump draft in the corner, you're like Carl Edwards and Greg Biffle. You can screw them up. So I don't want to do that. You know, he just didn't give me enough room towards the end there. You know, and it's tight racing, and it's been a while since I won one of these deals. And you got to win at the play track, and I had to shove him out of the way. I mean, he was working with me all day long, and you know, maybe next time, you know, I'll be in front and he'll slingshot me. I don't know, but you know, the backer board Chevy is really running great. I want to thank my sponsor.
I have a question, seriously.
Yeah.
What did you learn there? I mean, it's like he's pushing you, and you get, you know, he pushes you, and you kind of get pushed away off of him again. You know what I'm saying? Like, he pushes you, and then there's some separation, then he comes back up.
Yeah, there was probably a little bit more separation than was ideal, you know, and it was a little jarring. I think, you know, the key to bump drafting is you sort of have to accelerate as one. You sort of have to really be in sync with one another. And if you're Buck Fever and you're sort of not terribly subtle and you just run into the car in front of you as hard as you can, you probably don't get the benefit of the hookup. I mean, it's more like a bump and run than a bump draft.
Well, the thing that's interesting is the guys will talk about at Talladega that it's been slam drafting where you do feel it. It's like boom, boom. What was pushing him like?
It's interesting. In all fairness, I can't imagine really doing that at 190 miles an hour, you know, because you hit him, and I'm like, did I hit him too hard? Now, how do I hit him harder this time, or do I actually suck up next to him? It's hard to do at a parking garage at 15. I can imagine at 190, it's nearly impossible.
Yeah, a pretty interesting little demonstration. Look for a lot of that on Sunday at Talladega with slightly more facile drivers and vehicles.
Yeah, I'm concerned because I have a shop vac in the back of my car. I hope they just don't tag me for extra ballast.
That has been your Rowdy.com. Big 3 for today. For Buck Fever and Buzz Cutler, I'm Bass Masters. We'll see you Monday and find out what happened to Talladega.
Rowdy.com. Say it like it is.
Say what like it is?
Rowdy.com.